Welcome to my channel. This is a reading for Scorpio for the month of December 2020. Sorry for delays in getting everything out. Life gets busy despite COVID. So just wanted to quickly mention thank you to all those that are my returning subscribers. Many thanks. Always appreciate your time and attention. And welcome to my channel for those that are new subscribers. I just wanted to give you just a quick disclaimer. Please remember these are all just general readings. Only take what feels relevant for you. Really, it's just too broad a range in age groups and the collective globally for it to be universal enough to connect to every Scorpio. So again, just a quick reminder, general read, it's only meant as a guide to highlight potential events to consider and maybe provide a little insight to help you navigate through the month. So I'll just jump in here. I am trying a new way of reading my cards. I pre-pulled the cards off to the side here. I'll pull them forward as we go. This is just to, so you don't have to sit through my 2-hour readings. So it is a little bit shorter, and again, trying to be a little more succinct with the interpretations. So I'll start off first with the first deck. It is the Mystical Lenormand deck, and that's by Marie-Anne Lenormand, and Urban Trosh, painter, I believe, is the painter of these illustrations here. So it's a smaller, cute deck here that I've got. This is actually the ship card that I'm leading here with, and this could indicate some kind of long journey ahead for most of you. So I felt for the general energy around the whole of the reading, it was really more along a career front. So a lot of the cards following, really do speak to some closure and some endings, with the coffin, and definitely, there's a long path ahead here, and some new beginnings as well, as I mentioned. But there is a sense of stability through the month of December, despite, a lot of the emotional challenges I felt you were dealing with. A lot of self-esteem issues, a lot of burden, overwhelm, definitely a conflict either with some kind of a superior or a partnership or something along that line, but I'll get to that. But starting again with that, leading with this ship card, I did feel a long journey ahead of you, and I felt it was around the career front. So whatever this startup situation is, whether it's a startup business idea or a change in your career, and for others, it's more of an educational route. It's still like a page. It's still in that beginning mental realm. It's not, there's nothing being acted upon yet at this point, because I don't think you actually see what options you really have here. So again, it's still a stage of contemplation. It's still early on in the process, and I feel you're just taking a very realistic, practical approach. For some of you, again, for that startup vision. For others of you, you're being more committed and trying to apply that same hard work, diligent, practical, logical, attitude toward moving toward training, further training or education. So again, startup vision, but I did feel a lot of education that was coming through. So a lot of retraining for some of you, that's extensive. But either way, I feel for a few of you, this move toward the new was motivated by some kind of a sudden change. There was a lot of communication that was taking place, whether it was by email or phone calls or maybe a heated discussion. There was a lot of back and forth energy, and it did feel like it was rapid, as in anger or just a lot of communication period around that job loss or battle with the superior. But I feel there was a degree of sacrifice around it. So and when I say sacrifice, I feel it's because there was some kind of long-term energy. This is either a job that you were in for quite some time, or the energy of maybe you brought somebody into, or a friend brought you in, but there's some kind of a friendship feel to it, or a partnership, like a long-term commitment around this conflict with this person. I feel that there was one person is quite a narcissistic, sort of dominating kind of energy, and that's where there's a lot of that overwhelm and powerlessness, or a feeling of victimization, and maybe even a bit of degree of that backstabbing energy. And for others, as I said, maybe that's you that was in conflict with this narcissist type energy or dominating kind of person, or maybe roles reversed here. But either way, it feels like there was some kind of confusion where someone didn't feel like they were enough for something. So there could have been some kind of a battle with a friend, as I said, in the workplace. But whatever this involvement, whether it's whether the party in conflict was a partner or a romantic partner, but there's a closeness, and there's a feeling of a loss of that friendship or that job or that reputation or something that's long standing. So either way, it all happened fairly quick, whatever these changes were, whatever this argument was, and someone's moved off into, I do feel it's you's moved off into this new territory. And whether you left of your own accord or otherwise, although again, I feel that there was more movement on your part to leave, but there definitely is a strong sense of walking away, and that the parties involved were long-term friends or very well connected, well known to one another. And it feels as though there was a bit of a painful end with this situation. So again, I just feel that it caused you to let go and separate from the situation. And maybe you, again, are the one that walked away from the job or the partnership or the affair. And I say that for the small number of you that maybe this was an affair situation. But there was a feeling of overwhelm and maybe even just too much of a workload from an over-controlling boss. But there's definitely some intense restriction around you. So, and again, followed up with the house card, I still feel that there's a certain amount of security that's coming through here. You're still feeling overall pretty good in the month of December in terms of your stability, even though there may not be significant money coming through here, but I mean, there's the potential of it. Lots of potential here with you. Even though I feel you're not really recognizing the path ahead, I feel that somehow you're either in denial about something, or maybe you're too caught up emotionally. Your things seem like they're a bit of a distance here from you. But I feel that again, there's some kind of energy around. I don't want to say enemy, it seems too strong, but some kind of energy around a person here that, really scarred you somehow overall. But either way, we're moving on to, this is a card of really letting you know you are moving on here. So again, this is where you're walking away here. This is a card that indicates that there's some kind of job training or stability that's coming through. And again, all the other cards speak to that as well. And we've got, of course, the coffin, which is really a card of moving in a different direction here. So something's come to an end, so something new can move forward. But either way, again, as I said, I feel that for the month of December, this is really about the wheels are just starting to turn here. With a ship card, you're motivated. It suggests moving toward, a thriving business, if it's a startup situation, whether it's of your own creation or a job that you're moving into. But there's a potential to make some significant money or a position with higher pay and scalability. And again, with the house card here as well, I mean, there's a sense of lucky energy that's coming through here. There's a lucky opportunity that's coming your way, but I feel somehow that you're not seeing it. Maybe you won't see it in December, or maybe it'll be toward the end of December, but I just feel that it really speaks to you feeling you're comfortable with your decision to move on, and whether that was, again, moving toward a new job or new opportunity or a career shift. But it seems like there's a pretty solid foundation or a sense of security up ahead here, and it may be that it's a home-based business, but somehow it's making you feel more stable, or that it's the right choice. So there was that choice that you had to make in the month of December, or somewhere very close to that, to be able to make this shift. So the choice may have been, or will be, so the choice may have been or will be relating around someone with that ego and that air of superiority, who is the dominating person here. Again, a sense of frenemy, maybe, something along that line. But you're being challenged here by the universe, and the reason why is because it's a call for you to start putting out some boundaries. I feel that you weren't putting up enough boundaries. You were maybe taken advantage of, and you really needed to, just say to somebody. Perhaps that would have circumvented the whole argument if you had have put up some boundaries beforehand, indicating you can't do it all. But either way, the universe is challenging you here in the month of December to learn to create some boundaries for yourself. So again, something is coming to an end in December, because we do have the coffin card. So something is coming to an end, and that's enabled for something new to begin, of course. And again, that endings can come in the way of just interacting differently, or maybe you choose a more final sense of closure, either by walking away, moving to a different department, dealing with a person in a different way. But there's some kind of a conclusion that I feel that is allowing you to feel like you've got more control over your situation here. So moving on to the next deck, that is the Moonology deck. Okay, so I pulled 3 cards with that one. So Moonology deck. So step out of your comfort zone. Show the world the real you. And the end of a tough cycle approaches. So stepping out of your comfort zone, again, there's a real strong feeling like you're just not seeing something here as well. But either way, it reiterates much of the same. Step out of your comfort zone, show the world the real you, and to be able to get through this tough period. So when you step out of your comfort zone, you're leaving the past behind. You're taking action. It's in a more purposeful and happier direction generally. This is a card that represents also a karmic connection, which can be relevant for some of you. As I said, this could be a partnership that you sort of split off with, that you were in a working relationship with of some sort. But the card's letting you know it's time for you to stop dwelling, because I feel that somebody is dwelling or obsessing on someone or a situation. And again, whether that person is you or this other energy, and again, because it's a karmic connection, karmic connections are where we learn lessons to progress forward. So, this is really a bond between a karmic pair. If this relates to your scenario, that would be more of a coupleship. Doesn't always have to be. It's not a hard, fast rule, but it generally has a passionate intensity. So again, not a hard, fast rule, but there's generally some boundary issues, and codependency could be among those boundary issues. So again, where one person may have more self-interest regarding their own needs, the other person, when somebody is more self-interested, of course, there's less investment on their part in the overall connection. And so at the other side of that, sometimes we misconstrue what's healthy in a relationship. So we see where we can help another, or where we can fill a need. And so it gives us a certain level of confidence, that we're being loved because we fill a need and the other person appears to need us. So again, you feel like you're loved, you feel like you're needed, but you are failing to recognize that your own needs may be neglected in the process. So if that relates to some of you, please set some boundaries and start to look at some of the areas of your life that you're not in touch with your own, you're not present and aware of your own requirements. So again, I don't generally do love readings, but if there is an element that comes through, I'll touch on it. I feel relationship reads are much more involved, and they should really be explored, just because of the emotional depths of those connections. And that's usually a bigger read. So back into the cards here. This is, another possible scenario here for some of you is, that there may, again, have been that more complicated dynamic. So maybe there was a long time work friendship that became more of an intimate or a personal connection beyond the workplace. But again, there's just that residual of some kind of real strong connection coming through here, long time energy. That, again, because the workplace is coming through so predominantly, I feel like it somehow enters there. But the message remains the same. You need to set some boundaries and not be afraid to ask for what you want. And if necessary, be prepared to lose that connection or that work scenario to head in a better direction that's better suited to your happiness or your peace of mind. So that brings us to the next card, of course, and that's to show the world the real you. And in doing that, that would represent you starting to create some boundaries for yourself. So you're starting to detach a little from the person who was holding you back. Maybe you've started to set those boundaries. You're not accepting things in the way that they were being conveyed. You're blocking, that negative energy by not being present for the backlash. You're finding ways to avoid the person or whatever it is. You're finding a way to create some kind of distance between, that maybe clingy person perhaps was you or somebody else, but or that somebody who was really neediness and a very confident, over controlling person. So that could represent some kind of an Aries energy that's coming through. There was also Libra energy that came through here, air sign as well. So, but either way, it's the end of a tough cycle. So again, with the boundaries, you are now able to, once you progress into and make those decisions, you will be reaching the end of a cycle, a tough cycle, and you're working through your issues, your things have come to a head. And again, whether that's in December or just residual into December, but for many of you, it's just the process of making the move to exit your current position. So if there is a left situation involved here on the work front, the card suggests facing that reality, moving through those difficult feelings of helplessness and making a plan. So it puts you back into the front seat, and you're less emotionally taxed and you're more rational and focused when you're able to start gaining a better sense of your situation. So moving on to the next cards, I pulled clarifiers with the Rider-Waite deck, and then I've got the main cards here. Actually, sorry, that one came out in reverse, so I'm going to flip it the way it was. The main cards here as well are the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, and that starts with adjacent possibilities. So this card speaks to, again, stepping out of your comfort zone, and in doing so, you're starting to see an option that was previously unseen. So this is a card of doors not fully opened. You haven't explored, all avenues. You haven't tried any different approach here, but you're being called upon to do that. So it may require that there's got to be some kind of change in your behavior, your thoughts, or going off in another direction entirely to resolve the current situation or to meet your own needs now. So knowing that you've made some new boundaries here means that there has to be some more options and some more challenges met. So that the more options that you see, the more motivated you'll become. So you want to get out of your head and look for new connections, or learn to be more flexible and to adapt, to overcome what you're afraid to become. So again, this is a card of learning to level up, elevate yourself, and stay forward moving. Don't be afraid to grow and learn here. That's the whole point of, sort of our earthly material world, is to learn and grow. So I feel you need to tap into your intuition here to help navigate through some of the issues, and bring you to look for some of the possibilities around you here, because there is a degree of new learning here as well. And again, I did feel, with the Hierophant, there's some indication that, for sure going inward, some feeling of loss, or that you're not, and then again with the Two of Swords, there's a decision to be made here. I still feel like there's a bit of a stagnancy as well, a stagnant energy, as that might have been in the beginning here of December, and certainly self-sabotage, all of that. But that energy does change as we move toward the other clarifiers. But again, I still feel like there's a degree of new learning here as well, coming through with the High Priestess, following your intuition. Sorry, trying to have all the cards seen here, but again, it's I feel you're overlooking your own potential. Something is still hidden to you, your skill or talent in another area, something you just haven't really considered. And again, with that stuck energy here with the Two of Swords, I feel that you again, this is probably at the beginning of December where you haven't quite come to a decision here. And again, there's that level of stagnancy in December, but you need to stop the scattered energy, with the anxiety and overwhelming feelings that are preventing you from making some major decisions, so that you can remove, that sense of restriction, because that's what we've got here, is self-imposed restriction here with the 8. But 8s are definitely, you're still trying to find some balance here with even though there's some sense of conflict, struggle, or loss with the 5. But you're definitely moving toward, a decision, and you're getting past with the 8. So I did feel, as I said, you're feeling a lot of emotional restriction or overwhelm or heaviness, but it came up with the Knight of Wands. So I feel like you're taking action, inspired action on some level at some point here in December, probably toward, maybe the end of December more so. But with the Magician card in reverse, and I don't usually get a lot of cards in reverse, but when I do, I usually just try to read the surrounding cards around that, because they can still come through with some, negative energy, or I don't want to say negative energy, because all cards seem to have like a positive and a negative connotation, but I find that, just because of this particular combination of cards, I feel that, again, with that Magician in reverse like that, to me, it again speaks to untapped talents, some kind of something you're missing, something you're neglecting to look at. But with a little, due diligence and planning and that kind of thing, you should be able to get back on track here. Is what that card really speaks to. So we also have the Thinking Man. And with the Thinking Man, that indicates a mentor or a teacher that's coming through to influence your path in some way. So this person is wise and understanding, maybe more mature. Doesn't have to be a male, although I do feel for many of you that it is. I would certainly, you could even look at this as a love interest, or a friendship that might turn into a love interest. Kind of hard to say at this point, but I didn't pull clarifiers on it. But I do feel that this is, for a lot of you, just a need to set yourself toward a course of disciplined study. This card has potential, and it's tremendous growth for someone who's setting out to learn personally or professionally. So I feel December is, still, you still have things under control. Emotionally, it may be more draining for you. And again, you could be feeling like there is some financial constraints here, but I still feel like you haven't taken any big losses. But I just feel there's financial reserve and conservative spending over the holidays. So there will be improvement in coming months, likely not until into the new year. But once you take the steps toward exploring your skill base and consideration to new learning, I feel with all those clarifying cards of the Knight of Pentacles that came up here following, money is slow to come in, but it's coming. It's actually this direction that they really came through. So again, the Libra energy with the Justice card could even speak to a legal situation for some, but it's still, I feel, moving in your direction. So again, these are the clarifying cards for the financial restriction, and I feel in the new year, you're going to start to see some of these changes and opportunities arise, but it's a slow, determined, practical kind of effort that's moving you toward seeing money. So it's not gifted money, it's money that, is put in for efforts. But if it is in terms of finding justice or some kind of lesson learned or something along that line here with the Libra card, with the Justice card, I do feel that you will get that karmic justice, something, legal or otherwise, is moving in your favor. So maybe there was a lesson learned and somebody has either come to understand your situation, whether that's other people involved in the situation, but somehow there's some kind of resolve here with, again, karmic justice lesson or an actual legal matter. But moving on from that, I do still feel that, there's potential coming in here with the nines are all, you're completing a cycle and you're for sure moving toward more independence, sort of solitary energy here with that. And again, with the Page of Wands, I feel that there's inspired action coming through, maybe not entirely for the month of December so much, but because I feel you're still dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues and confidence building, that kind of thing, because you're moving toward a new level of self-expression, because this is your door, you're exiting through, is to be able to express yourself. But I still feel for a lot of you it's an academic pursuit, or you're a student just jumping in and taking action, but there's something about self-expression coming through here. So we also had the Cornucopia card, which is the next one. So cornucopia indicates that the journey is worth the wait. So again, the stretch I feel is going to be a little longer. You're still at the beginning stages of it. There's not a lot of action that's taking place in the month of December. I still feel it's a lot of mental energy. And you're still kind of waiting for that inspiration to move you ahead, because I don't feel a lot of you are seeing the opportunity just yet. But cornucopia does indicate that longer stretch, but it's moving into an energy where you're going to have to invest a fair amount on your part to really gain a lot of the reward. Because again, I feel that's what the burden is the 10. You know, you've completing one cycle, starting something new, but there's a lot of investment to get to that stage. But you are getting the clarity with the Ace of Swords here. You are getting some clarification, you know, shows you're eager to learn something and start something new. It's a breakthrough moment of that clarity that'll cut you through the confusion with the Tower. It's cutting you through all that confusion, and you're making a sound decision, and you're taking action. You're realizing the way forward at some point in December, but again, I feel that there's a lot of heaviness. So, and I feel like it's just a hint of it. It'll probably be coming through more so for the month of January. But I feel like you're ready to change the status quo with the Tower and the Ten of Pentacles clarifying. So you're getting ready to challenge your goals here, or at least in consideration to doing that. So you're really at a point where you want to take control of your finances to some extent and act. But I do feel there's some kind of help or collaborative input coming in here with the man holding the coin. Sorry, that was not a turned upside down one. It's just the way I picked up the cards there. But with the man holding a coin, I just feel that this is a card of, you're wanting to make these changes, but maybe that's why there's some kind of hesitancy is until this person shows up, or until you identify this person as a person who you can collaborate with, or until some kind of input comes in with this man holding the coin. But I feel, again, for many of you, it is a male energy, but there's also, again, that sense of mental struggle in December. Something unexpressed is frustrating. But without that challenge present, you will not move ahead. You need to have the challenge. You need to be able to create the boundaries and be aware of your time and where you're putting your time. Because I feel that a lot of you have done too much in one direction and not enough for yourself. So this, again, it just feels like with the swords emphasizing self-esteem issues going on in the workplace, there may have been a lot of manipulation, again, job loss, breakup, partnership related around the work front. But your final card out, as I said, were just indicating that the door is not opening yet in December, but you are going to be asked to take a leap of faith here. So I feel the self-esteem issues here were coming through with, again, the other five of swords. Again, sacrifice, feeling that there was some kind of a loss with a long-term friendship or partnership or some connection there, or a long-time job. But again, I still feel like you're just not seeing the opportunity yet. That might be why the Seven of Cups, many opportunities, lots of options, but you need to get out of your head to be able to explore those options. So, and get a new lease on life is really what the leap of faith is with the Fool card. So again, you want to be able to allow for that new lease of life. Once you get out of your head, explore your options with the Seven of Cups, and not to stress too much in the month of December. Just be really cautious with your money at this time until you are able to see the opportunity. But start opening, doors that you wouldn't otherwise have considered, or doing something different, or introducing yourself to people that you wouldn't otherwise have spoken to, because it seems like the collaboration is really the integral part of December that is going to allow for the option. And that's, again, maybe you don't see the option right away until this person starts discussing something with you. But either way, stay safe all. Happy holidays and many good wishes out to you, Scorpio, and your families. See you in the new year, 2021, and make every day count. Your time should always be growth and contribution and making the most out of your vitality while you have it. So don't waste time. Certainly, enjoy yourself and the time that we have around our families over the holiday season, and look forward to new great things in December or into January. Because as I said, for you, it's about some kind of connection coming through. It's going to show you your options, and you just need to take a leap of faith. Stay safe.